have that complaint about the educational system at large, that so much is spent on administration, and actually the institutions themselves, that the first thing they run to is to cut actual educational services to those who are in school. One of the frustrations for me is when I went through Chico State, it took me 7 years, but mostly because I was working full time. These days you can't get through the place because they don't even do the course offerings. In 5 years, my son is engaged to a lady who's trying to finish up at Chico State. They keep putting off her classes. She's supposed to graduate she was supposed to graduate this fall. Now she can't graduate until next spring because they're putting off her classes again on a fairly basic offering. They just seem to short those. That's the kind of priority that you need to see change, where people say, you know what, let's help people get what they need, and if we have tough times, let's make sure we provide the classes that people need, not sit there and say, oh, we don't know what's going on, because that's not good management. It's a little difficult because it's almost like the school districts. They have their own separate board and their own separate administration, so it's going to take some public pressure as well as us trying to get them to spend their money correctly. But one of the good things about actually when you run out of money is that we get to have those discussions. We have plenty of money, nobody wants to talk about it. So we say, hey, you need to spend your money wisely, you need to push more of your money down to the classroom. They don't want to hear that when you have year after year increases. When you actually have less money than you've had before, or you have to live within your current money, then we get to tell everybody, all right, you're going to have to live within your means, which means we want you to push more money to the classroom. We don't want you, if you're going to cut things, we don't want you cutting the basic class offerings. We want you guys to cut among the administration and your overhead. So that's the good thing about actually being short on money. You get to have those discussions. It's kind of like your own budget. You don't think about it. As long as you keep writing checks and you have enough money in your checking account, it doesn't matter a whole lot. And then you find yourself, man, it looks like I'm not going to have enough money to make it through the semester here. I'm going to have to make some changes. And that's when you start asking the questions, how can I spend my money more wisely? So it's that on a macro scale. Look at the overall course offerings that you guys have in the syllabus and say, all right, why are we having all these other extraneous courses when you guys are shorting us being able to get out of here? Well, yeah, we're going to offer those last 2 classes, but we're not going to do it until a year from now. And then you get to a year from now and they said, hey, we're going to do it. It'll actually be the following semester. In the meantime, you're kind of held hostage by the system. I think the students ought to get involved in saying, what do we want out of our educational system? What do we need? What are the critical core classes that we want? We want plenty of offerings of those. We want them to be flexible enough so that we can move through here. I sometimes think that it's a bit of a game. I think the institution is holding people hostage in the system. They could offer those classes because they're not shorting the other, weird, bizarre classes. They have plenty of those. So they could offer the classes that you need, but I keep thinking, is it because they want the tuition to last another semester or another 2 semesters? Is that why they're not offering the classes that are very necessary? It sure looks like it to me. And I think the students can do a lot by saying, you know what, we are going to take charge of this. We're going to get involved and say, these are the classes we want, and if you're not going to do that, then we're going to go and ask the legislators for help to change them. It's free market, they want to have more bodies in their system at any given time. So, it's about the money, is what it looks like to me. It's not supposed to be about the money. It's supposed to be give people the tools that they can go on through the educational system and go out and start their careers. That's what I think it's supposed to be about. And I think most students think that. It's just, that's not the way the administration says. Oftentimes they select classes that are more, what they want to do politically speaking than what they need to do to get the students to what they need to be able to get through the system, graduate, and move on to, getting on with their lives. So that's the way it looks to me.